In any other administration, finding out the President of the United States knowingly downplayed the threat of a deadly virus would be a career ender. But for the Trump administration, it's just the latest scandal of the week. A few hours before those tapes from Bob Woodward came out, we found out the president was enlisting the Department of Justice to take over his defense in a lawsuit filed by E. Jean Carroll, the woman who has accused Trump of raping her in the 90s and then lying about it when he denied the accusations last year. Yes, that means government lawyers paid with taxpayer money will be defending the president against a rape accusation from 25 years ago when he was a private citizen. Then there was the tell-all book that came out this week from Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, who called Trump a cult leader, accused him of making racist statements about Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama. And a few days before that came the report from The Atlantic claiming Trump called U.S. soldiers who died in war losers and suckers when he was telling a group of aides he wanted to cancel his trip to the Aisne-Marne cemetery of American war dead in France because he didn't want to mess up his hair. And while reporters from the Associated Press, the Washington Post, the New York Times, and even one from the president's favorite network, Fox News, all went on to confirm various elements of the story, Trump stuck to the strategy he knows best.
No, they make this stuff up. They make it up. They make stuff. It's called disinformation. They give a phony deal out. They did it 2 days ago with the military. There's nobody loves the military more than me.
I'd say a lot of people might disagree, including my first guest, Khizr Khan, whose son was killed in Iraq in 2004, and who I'm sure you remember first took on the president in a speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2016 when he offered to lend Trump a copy of his U.S. Constitution so he could read up on it. Khizr Khan, it is so good to see you again. Thank you for being here.
Good to be with you, Jim.
So you came into the American consciousness 4 years ago, holding up that Constitution, standing next to your wife. How has your life changed in those 4 years?
Well, I would say life has given us a chance to stand for all the blessings that we as immigrants, as citizens of this country, we have received. We are more grateful. We have continued to speak amazing love and affection from American people. We are so honored that we continue to serve what Humayun, our son, started, and we have continued. So we are blessed and we are fortunate to be in this blessed country, in this blessed nation.
You and your wife obviously experienced a great sacrifice. I remember like it was yesterday, you saying at that convention, Citizen Trump has sacrificed nothing and no one. We know how you feel about the president. You were at this year's convention, too. Why do you believe such a significant chunk of the American population still supports Donald Trump?
Well, they have fallen for his lies, for his salesmanship, and they're realizing that he has continued to lie to American people. They are showing faith and trust in the office that Trump holds, so unfit for the dignity of being the commander-in-chief of our brave soldiers, for whom he has no encouragement and challenge to our adversaries, our enemies that have placed bounties on the heads of harming American soldiers in harm's way. He has uttered no word of support in that regard. So for that reason, they have fallen in this sales pitch, the life of lies and misleading statements. Look what is happening at this moment. And he has continued to lie. And my only advice to him would be, at this moment, stop lying. It is hurting Americans. 200,000, almost 200,000 lives have been shattered. 200,000 Americans have died because of his lies, because of his misleading. It is for such reasons that some American, they are as patriot as anyone else, but they have fallen victim to of his lies and his misstatements.
You mentioned your son, Army Captain Khizr Khan, who was killed in Iraq in 2004. I thought of you when I read the story in The Atlantic describing the president talking about people who serve, people who've been wounded, people who've died like your son as suckers and losers. When you first heard those comments from, as you just said, the commander-in-chief, what was your reaction?
I was saddened, as literally anyone and everyone that serves has felt. But when Donald Trump calls anyone who places their life in service of others a loser, I apologize if my voice rises on this. We understand Trump's soul. By his accounting, self-service doesn't make sense. Love of country does not make sense. According to Trump, winners in life are those that put themselves before all. So when he calls them losers, those who have sacrificed their lives and served and continue to serve, he is displaying his own soul. And I'm sorry to say, and his soul is that of a coward, not deserving to be the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the United States.
You know, speaking of sacrifice, you've told me before about the final conversation you had with your son. Could you tell people what your son said to his mother in that last conversation?
Yes, even though every day it is very hard to recall that conversation, but I'll make an effort to maintain my composure. It was Mother's Day when Captain Khizr Khan called to wish Ghazala Happy Mother's Day. I was in the kitchen at that time, standing next to Ghazala. And when she said Humayun, I got closer to the telephone and he wished her Happy Mother's Day. And Ghazala, as it was her habit, said to him, Humayun, I know who you are. I know you very well. Please be safe. I don't want you to be a hero. I want you to come home safe. I got even closer to the phone, and Humayun said, Mother, don't worry about me. I am responsible for the people that are in my command. I am responsible for so many soldiers. I will make sure they are safe before I make sure I am safe, but I don't want you to worry. We will all come home safely. That was the last conversation we had with Humayun.
And his last act was to make sure that all the people on his command were safe. Are you a hopeful man? Are you hopeful that the racism, the inequity, the anti-Muslim sentiment, the white supremacy, are you hopeful that this country can escape those things and redeem itself?
Jim, I know a little bit history of my blessed nation that has honored me with the dignity of citizenship. Yes, I am hopeful. We have been in darker places before. Our Civil War, Jim Crow era, McCarthy era. We have come out better and stronger. That history gives me hope that there are challenges that lie ahead, but better leaders are in line to lead us than what we have at this moment. And those leaders are going to lead us, bring us together, make us stronger. We will conquer this pandemic. We will resolve this racial injustice for the final time, and we will be a better economy than we have been. That is our history, and I know the DNA of this blessed nation, and I am hopeful that we will come out of this successful, stronger, and better.
You know, in closing, I have learned a lot about Army Captain Humayun Khan from you, and I feel confident in saying he'd be very proud of his father. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Jim.